kinds of people are patient. They want to destroy our country, our government, our democracy, all of it. And it tickles me that they charge us Republicans with destroying democracy when it is really they that are doing it. And they're being led by George Soros, the guy who made his money turning in his fellow Jews to the Nazis. This George Soros, who wore this uniform. So the next time they call you a fascist and a Nazi, please show them this photo of George Soros, the man that is funding all of them. Okay? Show that to them. It's incredible. Trump started an investigation into George Soros under the RICO Act, alleging that Soros is funding violent protests across the United States. Soros and his organization, he has many, have denied these accusations, stating they do not support or fund violent protests. We'll see. They do. Listen. We know that the Vero Project and others, supported bail reform, and he's got enough not-for-profits out there that he funnels money to, that he can, kind of run cover. But it's good. The chickens are coming home to roost, as they say. Okay, so let's just watch this short little clip. This is about a purchase of the Free Press by Paramount. Anyway. I'm not going to, but this is from our friends at MSNBC, and I use that term loosely. But listen to how they talk about this purchase, what's going on. Listen.
Now, founding partner of Puck, Matthew Bellany. Matt, really good to have you. Bring us behind the scenes on this deal. How explicit were the promises from Skydance to the FCC to change programming at CBS? And do we have an idea of what that is going to look like?
It's been very explicit. There have been several letters that have been filed with the FCC explicitly promising that they will monitor the content, particularly at CBS News. Obviously, the president was involved in litigation over 60 Minutes. He claims that a Kamala Harris interview was deceptively edited. The parent company of CBS, Paramount, paid $16 million to settle that lawsuit, even though most observers believed it was a bogus claim and CBS would have won that suit. But Skydance, which is taking over this company, has explicitly said we're going to have someone inside CBS News to make sure that the content is representative of a full view of viewpoints. They also are ending all the DEI programs. CBS was among the most aggressive companies in Hollywood in their DEI programs. 50% of the writers on shows at one point were designated persons of color. So this is a pretty big commitment explicitly by the new owner.
If Donald Trump wasn't the president, would Skydance be making these sort of changes at CBS?
Absolutely not. I mean, there are always conditions on the transfer of licenses for the broadcast networks, but I have never seen something that has been, I mean, the commissioner said it's been weaponized. I think Trump would agree with that assessment. He's been pretty open that he wants more favorable coverage for him. He's not hiding the agenda here. He wants it to be more favorable to him. And he was openly cheering when Stephen Colbert was canceled by CBS. Now, there are financial considerations on that decision, and Colbert's show was losing money for a long time. The entire late night television model is changing. But the fact that the president is saying, yeah, we wanted this to happen, and then it did happen, that sends a message throughout the media community.
Yeah, it's an ugly addition to this. Let me ask.
A lot to unpack there. But before we do, let's finish up our conversation about religion. People have the right to practice religion, but not the right to force it upon others. 100%. That's a great comment. Can we all get along? Yeah, that's true. I'm still uncomfortable with 50% of NYPD being Muslim. Well, for whatever reason, it's the chosen profession, but I agree. I understand. And we talked about this. It's really hard. How do you not profile with that? And that's why half the NYPD is Muslim, and they want to take away your guns in New York, and basically they have. So now what? The church is within us. It is indeed Coexistence is correct, and all show respect to one another. Yes, interesting, right? Enter the MSNBC would be called BS now. Yeah, but listen, here's the thing. They're upset because CBS is ending the DEI program, and they were the biggest of DEI. But when did that begin? That was a Joe Biden mandate, right? So they're upset that Trump's saying you got to end the DNI or DEI, or they're ending it to appease Trump. But they started it to appease Biden. Why didn't anybody have a problem with that, right? Then they said that CBS is going to moderate better. So there's going to be more favorable coverage towards Trump. Well, because for the last 10 years, they have been doing nothing but Trump bashing. So that means that they're going to come back to facts, right? And reporting evenly on both sides, both Democrats and Republicans. Why is that a problem? Because nobody was complaining from the left when they were only tilted to the left. Interesting. They said that Trump was openly cheering when what's his face got kicked off the air. That is not true. Trump said it was because of the money and the ratings. And then later on in that interview, the Puck guy admits that it was about the ratings and it was about the bad ratings. So, here the thing is that why? Why is this happening? Why are our news stations all of a sudden so slanted left? I mean, they have every right? Because it's always been the case. If you own it, you get to editorialize, you get to say what you want to say. But in order to get viewers, you want to keep it even. Our major media has been going far, far left. Favorable, not a good word. He should have said fair and balanced. Yeah, he did kind of say it, but not quite say it. You couldn't be against DEI because they would say you're a racist. Well, but the DEI came with Joe Biden. So one president pressed for DEI. Another one said, hey, stop it, because that was the former president's agenda. And it's not the agenda of the American people, right? That's what this president is saying. But they had no problem following the former president's agenda. And the left doesn't even see how biased they are. They actually don't believe we are censored. Okay, so we talked a little. All right, so I'm going to show you some things. And this is crazy. Let me see if I can say. I'm going to put up, I suck at this shit. Okay, all right. Here are the media companies where China has a controlling interest in them. Look at this. AMC Theaters, Legendary Entertainment, Dick Clark Productions. China has a controlling interest in these. And Forbes Media, I Am Global, Oriental DreamWorks. Well, we figure that, right? STX and WCRW Radio. China has acquired ownership stakes in several American media and entertainment companies. These investments, peaking around 2016 to 17, total billions of dollars and focus on Hollywood production, distribution, and broadcasting. Direct ownership of major U.S. news outlets, CNN, NBC, or the New York Times, by Chinese entities is rare due to U.S. regulatory scrutiny from the Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States. However, indirect influence is widespread via business partnerships, paid inserts, and content deals that can shape coverage. Chinese investments in U.S. media have declined since 2018 amid heightened U.S.-China tensions and stricter reviews, but existing stakes persist. This influence is often subtle. Chinese firms gain veto power over content, e.g., blocking anti-CP themes in films, and U.S. media companies self-censor to protect China market access. Critics argue this erodes editorial independence, while proponents see it as a normal global business. And we saw the breakdown, right? So Partnerships with paid propaganda. China Daily, well, we knew that, paid $19 million from 2016 to 2019 to U.S. outlets like, ready? Washington Post, Los Angeles Times, Time Magazine, Foreign Policy for China Watch sections, and propaganda was disguised as news. Okay, I've got more. Partnerships with major networks. NBC Universal, Comcast. Oh, I think I started the program talking about NBC. Now, do you understand? Comcast owned, partnered with Xinhua State News Agency. It's spelled Xinhua in 2010 for content sharing. Oh, guess who else? Disney, ABC owner, has deep China ties with Shanghai Disneyland and ESPN Ventures. ESPN, ladies and gentlemen, all of a sudden everybody's kneeling in football. Just saying, I don't know. Is it a coincidence? Self-censorship. U.S. firms like Warner Media, CNN, and Paramount, CBS, alter Films TV to avoid CCP backlash, removing Taiwan flags or Tibet references. Radio expansion. CRI controls stakes in 33 plus global radio stations, including U.S. ones, via obscured ownership to broadcast propaganda. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. All right, let's see. What do you say? They are slanted left because they were getting paid by the left by now. American patriots know what's what, and now we are sick of Trump bashing. Yeah, well, you got it. Yep. And I just read you why. They also bought Easy Pass. I'm not surprised. China is heavily invested in Hollywood. Yes, they are. Did you notice how many evil movies are out? How many evil movies? And do you notice that the homosexuality rate of movies off the charts, and the sex content in movies off the charts? All businesses that are owned by China should get shut down. It's called programming. Yes, you are absolutely right. And I'm sorry, I have something caught in my lip there. Sorry about that. That was disgusting. I didn't mean to be doing that. Okay, so now just a couple of things that you should know that George Soros is heavily invested in. DreamWorks Film Library, Viacom, Paramount Pictures. Let's see. And this is all the Redstone family is the one that owns. It is. Let's see. It is the NA Administration LLC. It is the board of directors that controls Paramount and Paramount Global and Viacom CBS. They're all just bunched in together. So Viacom CBS, Soros Fund Management bought $194 million in stocks of Viacom CBS, which is now Paramount Global. This purchase occurred during the sell-off that followed the collapse of the investment firm Archegos Capital. It's Archegos Capital Management, which was heavily invested in the company. And just so that you know, the parent company of all of these sub companies is the NA Administration LLC, and their board is David Andelman, Brandon Korf. This is the Redstone family that controls this board. Kimberly Ostheimer, Jill Krutik, Tyler Korf, Thaddeus Janowski, and Paula Keogh. Okay, so these are the people who are in control of what you get to see in the news, in Hollywood, on television. These are the people that are influencing the mind of our children. These are the people that want America to fail, judging by what they're putting out in the media. And the next time somebody says that Trump is unfairly pressuring news media or companies through the FCC, you can just tell them that Trump is not going to do what China says anymore. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining me tonight. I'll see you tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, where we'll have some more discussion about some other great stuff. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and being part of Let's Talk News.